Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Defy How To Tour. What we're working on this time is playing cards. I have made a whole bunch of packs of assorted playing cards that I have sent out to artists, and I just thought maybe it would be fun to have a few ideas on what to do with them. Now, of course, everyone's first instinct is an ATC, and that's a good thing. But I wanted something different, and let me tell you, the more I played, the more I found. So here, let's get started. First of all, what is it? Playing card? Paper. So whatever you do to paper, you could do to a playing card. So we've got the ATC. We could use it as a journaling card. We could paint it and then do whatever we wanted with it. So I had a couple of ideas. My first one was something I received in a package. So if you are collecting fibers for things, or you just have bits of fibers, I mean, even if you went down to the dollar store and bought a cheap pack of playing cards, it's easier than cutting your own cardboards for fibers. So let's just show you just how easy that is. Let's pick a card. That one right there. I don't know why. Just thought it was a good one. And I'm going to use a 1 1/4 inch punch. Come in here. Boom. Boom. And now I have a card that I can just take some fibers and wrap it around. So I could share this fiber with a friend, or as this is the end of my ball here, maybe I just want to put it on here and be done with it and not have this big bulk. So that's, just a simple little thing. But while we're punching, this was one of my favorites. I took a playing card, and I have 2 packs here because I wasn't sure what I wanted to use. Because sometimes, most of my samples were made out of this pack, as you can tell. So let's say, pick something out of here that I really think would look cute. I like these flowers, and I used poker chips. I've already pre-drilled these, but if you don't have access to a drill, don't try your crocodile or something. It just broke it in half. So you could easily, where I put 2 pieces on here, one on the front, one on the back. I did this one smaller because I had to test and see which one I liked better. You always have to have a sample and audition everything. So you could put a piece of ribbon behind this when you glue it on, and then have your little charm so you could hang it however you wanted. I already know that my poker chips are 1.5 inches, so I have my 1.5 inches, and I'm going to do this one right there. And all it takes is some glue, and I've got my little bottle of glue, which I have found after playing with making all my samples. I'm not a very good liquid glue person. I sure made a lot of messes. Maybe it's because I used too much. I don't know. And because I've already got the holes, I want to turn that just enough so that I don't chop off the ladybug's head when I go to poke the other side. So I could probably get something out of it down here if I wanted. I don't have to have the whole flower. Maybe something like that. That's kind of pretty. I'll go ahead and punch that. And I could put this on the other side. But if you've already got your holes in there, poke one hole through before you put the other side on. And you can use your awl or any kind of sharp pointy tool. My poor awl is like crooked. So then I can glue the other one on, because then I'll be able to see the hole. And I'm going to glue on the paper. I put a large amount in the center because it's recessed a little bit. And I find I can make less of a mess if I pick it up with pliers. Although that doesn't always mean anything. Now I would just kind of either sit here and hold this and make sure it's all glued down, or my beautiful little weight here, I'll just set it right there. It'll probably slide a little bit. That's my luck. Okay, so we're still in the punching. We don't need the poker chips anymore. I just drilled several so you could see it. So I also punched this out, and I don't know where the inside heart went to. It didn't work the way I wanted it to work, so I didn't keep it. But you have the ability to layer this on another card or whatever. So you can die cut or punch your cards, and they make really cute things. A couple of other things I did while I was playing around is, this is all from one card. I used the die cut, so I have this from right there, and this one from right there, and then from the corner I took it and made a tiny little tag. Now these don't look like much, but I did punch them from this side, so I have this cute little thing. I could put a little number stamp there and have a faux postage stamp. I'll get that a little bit closer. And the same thing with this. It was just the top of the fence. And so I just cut it out. And you can still make a funny shaped little faux postage. And I still have enough area here to make a tiny little tag and just poke a tiny little hole, and so you got a cute little embellishment to stick in a mini book. But that was could be 4 things out of one playing card. So that's a lot of bang for your buck there. And then you could still use this as a stencil, which would be really fun on other projects. And something like this that we just did, because this is waxy or kind of plasticky, you could easily use that as a stencil also. So you didn't really waste anything. Now, I did punch a hole. This one has, this is one of the casino cards that had the hole in it. So there was not a way to get it so it would hang right. So you just have to live with the hole. And let me find that little guy. And he is hidden in this mess of, oh, no, I don't remember. Oh, I know what I cut this out of. For the original, poker chip, right here. This is the other side of it. This was the top and this was the bottom. And you're wondering, how did I not waste the other part? Well, I will show you right now. This is my favorite thing. This is what I did. This is what these were cut out of. This red right here. And then these were out of the blue. So, I did make an ATC, but that's a whole lot different than most of them. I will show you how I did this, but I have one started, and I punched this. I just punched the center out because I wanted to try just a simple little round, and that's where that one goes. What did I use for this? Project folders. that I actually got at the Dollar Tree. You know, when you used to put your lessons in there or reports. And I just cut a little section out. You can kind of see that right there. And I glued it on. And I'm going to go ahead and on this one, I don't think I'm going to glue and make it clear, but you sure can. On this one, I think what I want to do is find a card. Let's see. Over here is probably better. Right here. And that's another thing you got to pay attention to. The cards are all different sizes. Let's see which one is close. This one's bigger than that one. So we're going to use this one. And I'm going to glue them together like that. But before I do that, I had picked out a couple things. And I have a little butterfly here. And this is the back because this is where my plastic is. So I glued that wrong. That's okay. We'll put it on here and see. It can cut down just a little bit. That's good because I have a little bitty tag to put on there. The plus to putting a solid back as opposed to another see-through back is that I don't have to worry about the glue because it's got something to adhere to. So there we go. It could still be an ATC. It could be a little specimen card. You could cut it down to fit, and all you have to do is glue them together. I'm not going to do it real good because we want to make this quick so we can see all kinds of fun things. And my little number is not showing, so I'm going to separate them real quick. And boy, that glue went fast. Yep, it's stuck, so we're just going to have to leave it that way. Maybe this. There we go. I just had the card backwards. So there we go. Just a little pressing down and make sure the glue adheres, and you have a cute little card, and you could journal on the back of that if you wanted to. So we're going to do real quick this one so you can kind of see how I did it. I'm just going to walk you through it real simple. First thing first, you need to find two cards that are the same size. And you know, all cards are not created the same. And you need to find a card that has that. You don't have to. You could measure in and all that, but hey, that's so much easier. Okay. So I'm going to use this one. And let me get my little cutting mat. And my ruler. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to mark out like this to the side and this to the side of all these corners so that I know where to stop when I cut with the X-Acto knife. Now, if you aren't comfortable with an X-Acto knife, by all means, go in there. You could just put a slit in there somehow with your scissors and cut following those lines. I always start with my knife in exactly the same, in the starting spot I want to be in. And come down, and because I made those little marks, I have it. I'm going to check to make sure it went through because these are a little thicker. Okay. Go all the way around. I should have checked before I turned the corner because now I can't see it. So it's okay. So I think we'll just do 2 strokes for good measure. Of course, because I'm on screen, it's not going to go as fast as I thought it would. You can always get your scissors out. So there you go. If you're not happy if something's not straight enough, you can take your scissors in there and cut along it. Or if you just need to smooth it off, an emery board works really good. So there you go. You can decide which side's going to be your frame. That card wasn't very centered, was it? And I did come on more to the inside here, so it's totally up to you how you want to do it. I just like it using the lines because it's easier. So you have this too, and if you wanted to, you could come in here with one of your punches and punch just that club out, if you can get it lined up in there. And then you could just punch it out. So you're not going to waste that if you don't want to. So then you're going to take another card of the same size. Again, you would probably prefer to have it be one with a square, or you could easily just cut it, put it down as a template, draw your marks, and cut it out. So let's just try it that way, just to see if that really works better. They're kind of slickery. So I'm going to... Now let's try cutting that and see how that works. If it's a little bit bigger, that's fine. And you could even use a solid background too. It would still look really cool. And I can tell you right now, I've got my lines out of whack. It's a little later in the day for me, so the eyes are saying, "What are you doing?" I do have a smaller ruler that I use a lot of times, but I find that The big one gives me more surface to hold everything so it doesn't move. So I have that. It needs trimmed a little bit, but you kind of get the point, and that's what's important. And so now we're just going to take this, and you want to, when you cut your plastic, and if you don't have access to something like this, any kind of packaging that's clear works great. So I have this. Of course, I cut that really good, didn't I? I don't want it to cover the whole thing because I want at least some paper to be touching paper so that you get a better adhered. So I'm going to cut this about right there. And then trim this off a little straighter. And you're going to want to cut 2 of these. Okay? So you glue it to it. Figure out which one you want for the front. Which, do you want the red? Do you want the blue? Do you want the numbers? I love the idea of the numbers showing through. That's why I picked that card. So we would do this. Just a little bead of glue. And stick that down. And then pick your little pieces that you want and design that out. And I have already picked out a few just because I didn't want to have to dig. I don't know what I'm going to use, but I loved this number 19. And you could take, while you're playing and figuring this out, you could just take a card and sit. No, that's too distracting. Never mind. So figure out, maybe this needs to be a little bit like that. And it's number 19. And let's put the word wild in there and see what we like. So there we go. We got a little, oh, the glare on that is terrible. Let me move that so you can see it. There you go. And you would do the same thing. Put the plastic on here. Now, if you're uncomfortable with what shows through or what doesn't show through, by all means, go in there with your scissors and trim that out. Or your X-Acto knife, either way. And if you're a little bit bigger, that's good too, because then it won't show. And I can tell you right now, by looking at this, I have missed my marks. So, there we go. Somehow I got a little notchy right there. So I'm going to get rid of that little, because it's actually showing the black. So just, you make a mistake, you keep going till you figure it out. So there we go. And you just put your clear plastic in there, sandwich your images, glue it together, press it down, and you have a little cool ATC. And what I figured out is that I got some glue that seeped out. And it's finely dried, but it kind of gives it a little bit of frosty. So, in my opinion, this is taken in the snow. And that's just all that was. So, that's several little things you could do with playing cards right there. And, I mean, you can punch them, you can cut them, you can make your own little specimen cards out of them. But wait, I have another video coming, and it's got some really amazing stuff. So thanks for watching.